intense devotion to Krishna at different places throughout the world. So, as the representative of Srimati Radharani, he is remembering his spiritual master. Hmm. And now he's going to say how it was a desire of this spiritual master that Krishna's holy name be spread far and wide. तार इच्छा बलवान पाश्चात्य ते ठान ठान
तार इच्छा बलवान पाश्चात्य थान थान
होए जाते गौरांगेर नाम
होए जाते गौरांगेर नाम
पृथ्वी ते नगरादि आ समुद्र नद नदी
पृथ्वीते नगरादि समुद्र नदनादि
सकले लोय कृष्ण नाम
सकले लय कृष्ण नाम.
See, what faith that it was the desire of my spiritual master, Saraswati Thakur, and because of that strong desire of such a great personality, yes, the holy name will spread, no, across all the continents, across all the oceans, in all the countries, in every town and village. And everyone will chant the holy names of Hare Krishna. Then what will happen? ताहले आनंद होए तबे होए दिग्विजय
ताहले आनंद है तब है दिग्विजय.
चैतन्य कृपा अतिशय
चैतन्य कृपा अतिशय.
माया दुष्ट जत दुखी जगत सबाय सुखी
माया दुष्ट जत दुखी जगत सब सुखी.
वैष्णवेर इच्छा पूर्ण हो
वैष्णवेर इच्छा पूर्ण हो.
As people chant the holy names of Krishna, a great wave of bliss will spread all over the world. It will conquer all directions. A flood of transcendental ecstasy will certainly cover the lands. And then, when all the people become happy by being devotees, Vaishnava's desire will be fulfilled. ते कार्य जे कोरे बारे आज्ञा जदि दिलो मोरे
कार्य जे करिबारे आज्ञा जदि दिल मोरे.
योग्य नाही आम्ही दिनहीन
যোগ্য নাহি আমদিনহীনা.
ताईसे तुम्हार कृपा मागितेची अनुरूपा
আইসে তোমার কৃপা মাগিতেছি অনুরূপা.
आजी तुम्ही सभार प्रवीण
আজি তুমি সবার প্রবীণা.
My Guru Maharaj ordered me to accomplish this mission of Lord Chaitanya, but I am not qualified. Yogya nahi ami dinahina. I am very insignificant. I am a fallen person. Therefore, I am begging for your mercy, your kripa. Hmm? O Radharani, O Shri Krishna, I am begging for your kripa. Hmm? You are the most praveen, you are the most capable, wise, and expert, intelligent personality. You are the Supreme Lord. Please bless me so that I can fulfill the order of my spiritual master. तोमर से शक्ति पेले गुरु सेवाय वस्तु मिले
তোমারা সে শক্তি পেলে গুরু সেবা বস্তু মিলে.
जीवन सार्थक जरी हो
জীবন সার্থক যদি হয়.
सेई से सेवा पाइले ताहले सुखी हले
সেই সে সেবা পাইলে তাহলে সুখী হলে.
तब संग भाग्य ते मिलो
তব সঙ্গ ভাগ্যতে মিল.
O Krishna, please bestow your mercy so that I can serve the order of the spiritual master and then my life will be successful. Interestingly, if you think of Srila Prabhupada, 38 days he traveled in that Malvahak Jahaj. It was not a passenger ship. 38 days cargo ship without any seat. Prabhupada was just lying in the corner of one of the halls, and he got two heart attacks on board. So we can only imagine, in such a state, will someone, a 70-year-old man, pray like this? Probably he should pray that just keep me in good health. Where should I go? Tell me the address. Where should I go? I don't know. When he reaches Boston, these are the prayers he offers, that please bless me to fulfill the order of my spiritual master. And then my life will be successful. And he's telling that actually already my life is successful because I received the order of spiritual master. Now I need to do something about it. सेई से सेवा पाइले ताहले सुखी हले तब संग भाग्यते मिलोय. So he's remembering when he's praying like this, he's remembering Prahlad Maharaj, who also requested Narasimhadev to bless him to be able to serve Narada Muni. When Narasimhadev says, "Come, Prahlad, let us go to spiritual world," Prahlad says, "Let us go to spiritual world. When I was suffering in this world, you came to save me? No, your dear servant Narad Muni came. So my first obligation, my first gratitude is to Narad Muni. I want to serve him. You please bless me to serve him." Now Narasimhadev could have told, "You rascal, didn't you see what I did with your father? And you are like nothing. I'll just crush you right away. You're rejecting my offer?" But no, Narasimhadev was in ecstasy. Wow, Prahlad, this is substance. You want to serve your spiritual master. So Prabhupada very heartily remembers the verse offered by Prahlad Maharaj. एवं जनम निपतितं प्रभवाहि कूपे कामाभिकाममनुय प्रपतन् प्रसंगात् कृत्वात्मसात् सुरर्षिणा भगवन् गृहीता. सोऽहं कथं नु विसृजे तव भृत्य सेवाम्. Telling, my dear Lord, because of my association with material desires, one after another, I was gradually falling into a blind well full of snakes, following the general populace. But your servant Narad Muni kindly accepted me as his disciple and instructed me how to achieve this transcendental position. Therefore, my first duty is to serve him. How could I leave his service? Srila Prabhupada faced one setback after another. His god brothers did not encourage him, rather, they discouraged him. They did not support him, even though he made so many appeals. His family members rejected him. Prabhupada said that when I asked my family members, one after the other, that can you please help me? Can you please support me? I want to serve the mission of my spiritual master. He gave me some orders. And all of them said no. Prabhupada asked his friends, the vendors whom he used to deal with previously in his pharmaceutical business. Nobody supported. Prabhupada asked his cousins. Prabhupada says that, "Hey, I lived my entire life in the city of Kolkata. I gave my 70 years to the city of Kolkata. And today, not even one person is willing to even support me to go to the ship." Only Prabhupada's one son came to drop him. And there was another person, Shishir Bhattacharya, whom Prabhupada had met in Lucknow during one musical concert. And because he was a Bengali and Prabhupada was Bengali, they just bonded. And he just happened to be available and he said, "Okay, Swamiji, I'll just drop you." That's all. And Prabhupada says, where are all those people whom I served in last 70 years? All all that is left is a list of names. It's a very famous statement of Prabhupada. All that is left in my life is a list of names whom I can call as my own. But there is nobody actually. When I want to serve my spiritual master, till the time I was serving them, they were there for me. And now when I want to serve Krishna and my spiritual master, nobody is there. I asked my wife, tea or me? She says tea. Because later on, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he said with tears, "Prabhupada, we are so grateful to your wife." Prabhupada said, "You don't know what I faced." Prabhupada was in tears that nobody is there to help me. Prabhupada asked his god brothers, they just discouraged him. There was one brahmachari, Mukti brahmachari, who later, in the end, towards the end of 1965, he was in conversation with Prabhupada that I can send you mridanga, I can come there to help you. Prabhupada said, just take the blessings of your spiritual master. He does so, and his spiritual master says, no, the Swami Maharaj is doing on his own. And then Prabhupada tells him that, okay, if your spiritual master says so, then you should not come. You should follow the principle of following the spiritual master. But do not be confused that the mission of Saraswati Thakur and Lord Chaitanya will not happen. It will happen. They might say that when Nityanand Prabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu use the word Prithvi te achate nagaradigram, they say that it means Gaudadesh, only Bengal and today's Bangladesh. No, they clearly meant the entire world. How can they mean only Bengal? Krishna is the Lord of the entire world. And so Prabhupada said, I will carry on, even though your spiritual master may not support me. So this was a conviction of Srila Prabhupada actually. And Prabhupada is depending totally on Krishna. Prabhupada could have gone to USA in 1959. If you see Prabhupada's life, Srila Prabhupada 1955, 1944 he started practically like dedicating his time to spreading the mission. He was still doing his business, but his family was more or less settled. It was in 1955 that Prabhupada decided to totally take off from his family duties because everything was done. So Prabhupada took Vanaprastha. Prabhupada went to Vrindavan. Prabhupada was there in Delhi. And Prabhupada started distributing those back to Godhead magazines and leaflets. Prabhupada started doing various programs in people's homes, in public places, in libraries, in temples. But more or less nobody was hearing. Prabhupada started Jhansi project. That was Prabhupada's, like Prabhupada got so much dreams in Jhansi. Prabhupada thought that, oh, like this, I will flood the entire India. There was such great response from the youths of Jhansi. So many of them, they became devotees, started putting tilak, they started chanting. And Prabhupada started making plans. He saw this place, Bharati Vidya Bhavan. He said, here will be the kitchen, here will be this, here will be that. But very soon, one person called K.M. Munshi, his wife said to him that this place is good for my kitty parties. And then because of his power as a big government official, he took away Prabhupada's place, even though Prabhupada had paperwork. But he took away Prabhupada's place. And the local people, they didn't have any other support for Prabhupada, you know. So Prabhupada had to leave the place. But Prabhupada had, and the first deities Prabhupada made were of Gaur Nitai. There were 3.5 feet Gaur Nitai. And Prabhupada got them carved in Navadvip, Mayapur. And Prabhupada personally, in train with great difficulty, took them to Mathura. And from there, he took them to Jhansi. And he was going to install those Gaur Nitai in Jhansi. Those would have been literally the first deities. But because Jhansi thing collapsed, so Prabhupada then carried those deities to where he was going to be getting sannyas initiation. In 1959, in Mathura, in Keshavji Gaudiya Math, of his god brother. So Prabhupada gave those deities as gift there. And even today, those deities are worshipped there. So those deities Prabhupada had prayed to that, I want to preach, but this is collapsed here. In 1959, when Prabhupada got sannyas in Keshavji Gaudiya Math, so many people were coming there and seeing the ceremony because something was going on. So they entered, they thought that let us see what is there. And they just saw few old men, few Bengali old men. And they thought, oh, nothing is there. And Prabhupada made a comment that they don't know that this was just the beginning of an entire worldwide movement of Lord Chaitanya's mercy. So Prabhupada had that faith actually, right from the beginning. So Prabhupada could have gone to USA in 1959. Why? Because Prabhupada was clear by 1959 that Indians are not going to take it. I tried last 4 years. Before that, I tried publishing BTG magazine, which he began in 1944. And Prabhupada became crystal clear Indians are totally into economic development now. Because just now they have got, just 10 years back, 12 years back, they have got independence, freedom. And Prabhupada himself was following Gandhi at one point of time before he met Saraswati Thakur. So Prabhupada knew that this is very strongly there in the Indians' hearts, that we have suffered so long at the hands of invaders for 4, 5, 6 centuries. And now we want to develop our country. Now we want to develop our economic situation. And Prabhupada thought they will never listen to this. So Prabhupada was clear that I need to go somewhere outside India. And because people of India want to follow the Westerners, let me preach to the Westerners. My spiritual master anyways told me to go to the West. So let me go to the West. This is clear indication. But interestingly, Prabhupada did not make any endeavor to go to West at that time. Prabhupada thought, how will I go? It's a battle with Maya. If it is a battle, I must first carry some weapons. I don't have a team. My team is myself and the Paramatma. Because Prabhupada tried. Whom could he recruit as a team? His sons. Prabhupada actually tried with his sons. His sons were totally Indians at that time. They didn't want to do anything with that. And Prabhupada just asked that. Prabhupada asked his god brothers for help. They did not do. So Prabhupada understood I am alone. But Prabhupada knew that I cannot go on battle empty handed. What power do I have? As Prabhupada says in his songs also. But Prabhupada knew he can carry three things. And those became the fundamental elements to build ISKCON, just like we make foundation here. You know. So very strong foundation of ISKCON, Prabhupada built on those three things. What were they? Prabhupada carried the holy name, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Prabhupada carried Srimad Bhagavatam. And Prabhupada carried the deep faith, the staunch faith in the order of spiritual master, in the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the entire Guru Shishya Parampara. And Prabhupada was convinced that this will make the entire difference. By this power, I'll be able to preach. He could not even carry a copy of the Gita. He just had this Radha Krishnan's Gita for reference. So here you see, therefore, Prabhupada is so emotional trying to offer these prayers. Then again he continues, তুমি মোরা চির সাথী ভুলিয়া মায়ার লাঠি
তুমি মোর চির সাথী ভুলিয়া মায়ার লাঠি
খাইয়াছি জন্ম জন্মান্তরে
খাইয়াছি জন্ম জন্মান্তরে
আজি পুনঃ সুযোগ যদি হয়ে যোগা যোগ
আজি পুনঃ এ সুযোগ যদি হয় যোগাযোগ
তবে পারি তুহে মিলিবারে
তবে পারি তুহে মিলিবারে
O Krishna, you're my eternal companion, you're my eternal friend. Forgetting you, I have suffered the kicks of Maya birth after birth. If today the chance to meet you occurs again, I will surely be able to rejoin you. See, Prabhupada, in one sense, felt alone, but he was not alone. He always said that I always felt the presence of my spiritual master and Krishna with me. In fact, Prabhupada says that Krishna, along with all his incarnations, helped fly Jaladuta safely. And the Captain Pandya, who had the experience of more than 30 years, he said, in last 30 years, I have never seen a journey so smooth across Pacific. And that too on such an old ship that this was the last journey of this ship. The ship was supposed to be dismantled after this journey, which means the ship would have been used for 40, 50 years already. And he says this was the smoothest journey ever in my lifetime. Prabhupada had only $20 when he reached Boston, which he received from Captain Pandya by offering him the first set of Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto. তোমার মিলনে ভাই আবার সে সুখ পাই
তোমার মিলনে ভাই আবার সে সুখ পায়
গোচারণে ঘুরি দিন ভোরা
গোচরণে ঘুরি দিন ভোরা
কত বনে ছুটা ছুটি বনে খায় লুটা পুটি
কটবনে ছোটা ছুটি বনে খায় লোটা পুটি
সেই দিন কবে হবে মোরা
এই দিন কবে হবে মোরা
Prabhupada is in ecstasy, remembering Krishna very dearly, probably from the days of spiritual world. आज से सुविधा ने तुम्हारा स्मरण भेला
आज से सुविधा ने तुम्हारा स्मरण भेला
बड़ो आशा डाकिला मताय
बड़ आशा दाखिला मताय
आम्ही তোমার নিত্য দাস তাই করি এত আস
আমি তোমার নিত্য দাস তাই করি এক আশা
তুমি বিনা অন্য গতি নাই
তুমি বিনা অন্য গতি নাই
telling today your deep remembrance came in a very special way because I have a great longing. I call to you. I'm your eternal servant, and therefore I desire your association so much. O Lord Krishna, except for you, there is no other means of success. As Lord Chaitanya says, তোমারে লইতে আমি হইনু অবতার আমি বিনা বন্ধু আর কে আছে তোমার আমি বিনা বন্ধু আর কে আছে তোমার Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he writes that Lord Chaitanya is saying to everyone in this world that for you I have brought the holy name from the spiritual world. Tumhare lohite ami hoinu avatar. For you I have come to this dirty, gutter-like place of material world. And whatever I brought the holy name. Because who else is your better or best friend other than me? I am your best friend. Surudam Sarva Bhutanam. Krishna also claims similarly. Prabhupada also would write, you are ever well wisher. And Prabhupada is writing for Krishna here that you are my eternal friend, your eternal master, and I am your eternal servant. Except for you, there is no other means of success. Tumi bina anya gati na hai. So this was Prabhupada's preparation. Like people do business, they have like something, through which they feel confident. Okay, so Prabhupada, what was it? Mercy, Kripa. That was the foundation, and that was the target also. Profit is also that. So we'll read now from one chapter of His Holiness Satsuru Das Goswami Maharaj's book, Prabhupada Appreciation, in which it talks about how can we appreciate Srila Prabhupada's books, Srila Prabhupada's purports, his summary studies. Very beautiful description. And then we'll try to sing afterwards, towards the end, another song of Prabhupada. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादे पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामने गौरत्युषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। This is chapter number 6 of book Prabhupada Appreciation by His Holiness Satsvarup Das Goswami Maharaj. If you want to know me, read my books. This is Prabhupada's quote. Srila Prabhupada rose early in the morning and spoke alone to Krishna. Through his books, he shared these conversations with the whole world. His purports are a special, intimate communion with him, and through them we can know Krishna. We can gain more appreciation for Srila Prabhupada's books just by understanding how much time and effort he put into writing them for our benefit. He personally typed the first and second cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam on his small portable typewriter. Later, he began to dictate the verses and purports onto tapes and mail them to the typist. He rose early, usually around 1 a.m., and in the quiet of those early morning hours, he would absorb himself in the voices of the previous acharyas and then present their words for the common understanding of the world. In Prabhupada's diary, he shares how he had to beg for paper. When Prabhupada wrote the first canto, no, not the first canto, when Prabhupada started the BTG magazine, so when he started writing the articles, those were the last few years of India's independence movement. And therefore, because Subhash Chandra Bose was writing on papers, printing on papers, the page papers, his speeches, because that no internet and MP3, and he would circulate those through his men of Indian National Army, and that is how they would inspire the youngsters of India all around to, you know, like stand for India's independence movement, and they fought a unified war throughout India. So Britishers stopped supplying papers to Indians. They said, no, no, we should not supply paper only to the newspapers or to anybody. Let paper become so scarce, so costly that nobody can afford. So for many years, paper was not available. And so Prabhupada was looking for papers. Prabhupada would beg, you have written on one side of the paper, give me the other side. Just give me paper from anywhere. And that was Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada would write, see, from 59 to 64, 5 years, Prabhupada published only 3 volumes of first canto. And later on, from 66 to 77, Prabhupada wrote more than 70 books. The nine more cantos he wrote. Chaitanya Charitamrita he wrote while he was managing and guiding and preaching this entire world because he had support system. And Prabhupada was alone from 1959 to 64. He would write in Vrindavan, in Vamshi Gopal temple, and later on in Radha Damodar temple. And Prabhupada had no support. So Prabhupada had to himself get the paper, get the ink. Prabhupada had to like cook for himself. Prabhupada would go to Delhi. This Surendra Jain, who was the owner of that Jain printers in Shadra, Delhi, he used to print these the initial things of for Prabhupada. So he would ask whenever Swamiji would come, Prabhupada would come, usually go like after writing few one chapter, two chapters. So once in 1 month, couple of months, Prabhupada would go. He would take the tanga, the the horse-driven cart, and go to the railway station from Mathura. Then he would go to Delhi. In Delhi, he would from ISBT bus stand, he would go to Shadra by walk many kilometers just to save money. When he would reach the printers, Surendra Jain would generally ask Swamiji, you seem to be very tired. Have you eaten? Prabhupada say, yeah, that is not important. First, you tell me about the publishing, how it is going. And Surendra Jain would say that, Swamiji, you tell me clearly, have you eaten? Because Prabhupada, to save money in those 5 years, ate only once a day. Prabhupada thought that if I eat once, I can try to eat as much as possible, but I can save time and money. And I can print, he would say, Mr. Surendra Jain, I can print three more free those BTG leaflets, actually, there's not even a magazine free to distribute. I don't know, someone may become devotee by that. And Surendra Jain would say, Arey, Swamiji, let me give something to you. Then he would get something for Prabhupada. You know. And he would ask Swamiji, with a lot of shyness, he would ask Prabhupada that, Swamiji, please, what about the payment of the previous the print you have done? Swamiji would say, oh, that payment I will get you when I will print this one, when I will distribute this new one. That's why you should print it immediately. And the Prabhupada would keep like two prints unpaid, and then he would pay for the previous one, and then he would give hope that no, you print this one, then I would get you another. Prabhupada didn't have also actually, and Prabhupada was smart. Prabhupada thought no other printer will give me this. He would say, you are such a kind gentleman, Surendra Jain. Please print. So this was Prabhupada actually. So so he went sleepless nights actually to write these books. That's what Maharaj is trying to say. Prabhupada said, the purports are my devotional ecstasies. Ecstasy was a very important part of Lord Chaitanya's influence in preaching. Stern warnings from preachers may not prompt us to leave the material world, but the ecstasy of the Lord and his devotees can attract us. We can get a taste of that ecstasy if we submissively study Srila Prabhupada's books. So actually, it is a reality. If someone studies Prabhupada's books, especially his purports on Srimad Bhagavatam, which Prabhupada considered as his magnum opus, which Prabhupada considered his life's work. So if somebody studies those purports, definitely he will feel very close to Prabhupada, and he will feel that ecstasy which Prabhupada felt in loving service to Krishna. If he reads submissively, if he read with that faith, and if you want to understand what Prabhupada is feeling. You know. There are many other statements made by Srila Prabhupada to describe the importance of his books. He said, my books will be the law books for human society for next 10,000 years. So there is nothing to be said new. Whatever I have to say, I have spoken in my books. My purports are liked by people because it is presented by practical experience. It cannot be done unless one is realized. So this is very important. Prabhupada was a totally realized personality. Actually, there was one person. He was from Varanasi. He studied Sanskrit for 20 years, and he was like extremely. There are many Sanskrit schools there, Sanskrit training centers. I remember once in 2019, I was invited on behalf of ISKCON to a gathering of sadhus and all the holy men and all. So around 150 of them had gathered. Most of them were from Kashi's different mathas and all. Some of them were from the nationally different places. And they were all talking in Sanskrit. And when I went, so they were talking with me also in Sanskrit. Only problem is it was one-way conversation. So they were seeing, and then someone said, "Oh, are you from ISKCON?" Oh, he's from ISKCON. He doesn't know. These people are. It was so insulting, actually, so insulting. I mean, I felt like I should. In Hindi, they say, "Na, chullu bhar pani mein doob maro." Somewhere I should, earth should separate and I should go because that entire 3 hours I was like, somebody would come and say, something, and again someone nearby, hey, he's from ISKCON, talk in Hindi or English. So bad, actually. But these people have no idea that realization does not come from Sanskrit. Prabhupada had those realizations. Prabhupada really had those realizations. Prabhupada's books are flawless, literally flawless in terms of their substance. What I was saying is, so one of the topmost Sanskrit scholars of the entire world of current age. So this person was asked by His Grace Gaurang Prabhu and some other ISKCON leaders few years back. He was asked that you please come to Mumbai, and he was given all this 8, 10 commentaries by the previous acharyas of our sampradaya and Sri Sampradaya, other sampradayas. So please, some task was given to him, and this person was taking 5 days, 6 days for one just to understand the commentaries on one verse of Bhagavatam. And so our devotees, ISKCON devotees, were surprised. How could Prabhupada write all this? Prabhupada, Prabhupada took the essence from all the acharyas' commentaries, and he filtered those which was not needed for us, the Kali Yuga people. And then he gave in simple language. And this person, so qualified and young person, trained, is not able to do a little bit of that. So this shows what Prabhupada gave us actually. Interestingly, even the format in which Prabhupada gave matches with the traditional format in which Sanskrit commentaries used to be written. Because Prabhupada knew some scholarly people from Vrindavan or somewhere will definitely poke their nose and they will say this is not authentic. But Prabhupada's books are so amazing. They are practical enough for the modern people. They are simple enough for everyone to understand, even if they are not very clear with English also. And they are deep enough in the philosophy that that no acharya or no other spiritual authority will reject them. Plus, they are given in that format that no established authorities of spiritual literature will be able to reject these books. Such a genius, actually. You know. This is Prabhupada. You know. So, so therefore, you find a format in Prabhupada's books. Only two books where Prabhupada played, you know, with freedom was NOD, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, and Krishna book. Because Prabhupada said they are summary studies. I can do whatever I want. That the author is given freedom in summary studies. He just has to maintain the same essence. Otherwise, he can write the way he likes. You know? So Prabhupada actually was so authentic. We just skip those word to word meanings. Even in Bhagavatam class, sometimes we just skip. But Prabhupada made sure for every verse he gave that to make them authentic for anyone. Nobody can challenge Prabhupada's books. In fact, His Holiness Gaur Govind Maharaj, he used to say that my life is to convince devotees that everything is there in Prabhupada's book. You don't need to go anywhere else. Prabhupada told his disciples to cram his purports and told writing is the first duty of a sannyasi. And he told the book distributors, my books are like gold. It does not matter what you say about them. One who knows the value, he will purchase. Wow. Srila Prabhupada was aware that he would make mistakes in trying to present the philosophy in the English language and other foreign languages. In Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.11, he states, our capacity of presenting the matter in adequate language, especially a foreign language, will certainly fail. And there may be so many literary discrepancies in spite of our honest attempt to present it in the proper way. But he was sure that the leaders of society would accept his attempt despite the discrepancies because of his honest desire to glorify the Almighty Great. So this verse actually predicts, it's a prediction about Prabhupada's books in the Bhagavatam. So true as well. People were hankering for these books. Prabhupada had a great missionary feeling about the production of literature. His spiritual master had told him on several occasions to print books in English language. He wanted to fulfill Lord Chaitanya's prophecy that the Lord's name would be known in every town and village through the distribution of books. And if there were faults in the language of the presentation, he knew his message was so urgent that the people in the burning house of the material world would hear it and respond. So, this um, analogy Prabhupada gave this example that when there is fire, it doesn't matter whether people know each other's language. They find a way to converse. So Prabhupada said similarly, in the Kali Yuga, people are on fire actually. They really need spiritual shelter. So even if my language would be imperfect, I'm sure those sincere people who are seeking the essence, they will find it 100% all right. So this was in great humility. The Bhaktivinoda purports are based on the commentaries of the previous acharyas. Srila Prabhupada would work from a Bengali translation of the Bhagavatam with commentaries by 12 acharyas. See, so 12 acharyas comment this. He would keep like this, like in a semicircle. And he would, in the middle, his first canto, he himself had to write and type. Actually. So this is, nowadays people code with different screens. Such as Vishwanath Chakravarti, Jiva Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Sridhar Swami, Bir Raghav Goswami, Madhvacharya, Bhaktivedanta Saraswati, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur. The Bhagavad Gita is dedicated to and follows the commentary of Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan. The Chaitanya Charitamrita purports are summarized from those written by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati and Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Even if we consider that Prabhupada's purports are partly translations of previous commentaries, this does not diminish our gratitude for his preaching and giving us access to the thoughts and devotion of the disciplic succession. Once the devotees were commenting on how quickly Prabhupada was writing. Prabhupada said, "Oh, I can finish very quickly, but I have to present it for your understanding. It requires deep thought, very carefully to present." And neither were his purports just static translations of other commentaries, but he struggled to apply the words of the previous acharyas to the present day mentality of the Westerners. We can imagine how difficult this must have been, trying to present the principles of Vedic government or the position of women in Vedic culture, or even the necessity to avoid sinful life, to persons who were addicted to sense gratification and who had no idea what was wrong with it. He saturated his purports with Krishna and built the groundwork to supply his readers with the cultural language to enable them to enter into the pages of the Bhagavatam. What a paragraph. See, Prabhupada had to give the culture also of the Vaishnava tradition, the Vedic tradition. And Prabhupada at the same time had to had to write in such a way that even the Westerners can accept it. So Prabhupada's books are timeless. This is one amazing thing. See, when we give classes or speak anything, often we can find actually that people after some time may not find it relevant, at least not so relevant. Prabhupada's books, he wrote in 50s, 60s, 70s, and they're still timeless. Timeless, placeless, which means they apply to all time, place, and circumstances. How amazing it is. They're universal teachings. They're so pure. So I heard from some Prabhupada disciples that Prabhupada often used to even get stuck that I want to get the right word, exact word, because he would say these books are going to be the law books for next 10,000 years. So they need to be very crystal clear. Another thing, Prabhupada's teachings reflect that he was not just a person who was telling people to chant Krishna Rama Govinda and be happy. He was concerned about every aspect of society, and that is visible in his purports. His his meditations about the concern for this society, the welfare of the society, reflects in the purports he has written. Especially if you read the purports of the first canto, like in those chapters 16, 17, where Parikshit Maharaj's rule is given. It's mind blowing actually the clarity which Prabhupada had. Like he's claiming that all the MPs and MLAs they should be second initiated devotees. He had the guts to write this, guts to even think of this. I don't know if I have the guts to take that purport to any politician and show him. Prabhupada went to meet Indira Gandhi and Lal Bahadur Shastri, and Prabhupada told directly that I have a proposal that all your MPs and MLAs let me train them in Bhagavatam. And they just sent off Swamiji as a mad guy. Pagal ho gaya buddha. Literally. Prabhupada, there are letters before ISKCON established. Prabhupada's writing uh, to some people who had organized a Bhagavatam Saptah. Okay. And Prabhupada is writing them from Vrindavan. I have come to know that in your Bhagavatam Saptas, you are teaching impersonal absolute truth to be the highest. I will put a case against you. I will take you to court. Change it. I am still telling you. Of course, nobody would bother to reply also. But Prabhupada's fire you can see. It's there. It's there in the Veda. There's this letter. I'll take you to court. Can you take someone to court like that? Those times Prabhupada is writing. You know. So if you just see his mood, his urgency, his faith, his conviction, this is Like just not possible for any general person to have. He's a very special person. Many scholars appreciated his purpose for this reason. Dr. Bruce Long from the Department of Asian Studies at Cornell University wrote, anyone who gives a close reading to the commentary will sense that here, as in his other works, Sri Bhaktivedanta has combined a healthy mixture of the fervent devotion and aesthetic sensitivity of a devotee with the intellectual rigor of a textual scholar. At no point does the author allow the intended meaning of the text to be eclipsed by the promotion of a particular doctrine or persuasion. In simple language, he is appreciating Prabhupada as a preacher and an acharya, not just as a brahmana or a teacher. What is the difference? In colleges, like I also go to some colleges as a spiritual faculty. So students, they say, sir, you are totally different. Even the professors say. Because recently one IIT, one the director attended the program, the class I gave, and he said, sir, so nice, sir, how you engage everyone, this is so classic. You know. We guys don't know, we are teaching since so many years, so many decades. So what happens is, teacher, what they do, they have no botheration about the students. It doesn't matter to them whether students are flourishing in their life or their technical understanding. They just come, they look at the board, they write something, they speak something which probably the sound doesn't even reach the middle of the class, because there are so many students. Yeah, and even their accent sometimes is not understandable, and like they just do something and they go. They know they have to give some notes, some books they have to tell them to refer. They will study on their own, they will write, and anyway they'll Google and all, and they can cheat nowadays. It's very easy. So they are also not bothered, and the students are also not bothered. This is called teacher or Brahmana. He will come, he will teach something, whether it is relevant for you or not, doesn't matter. Once I went to a very big, very famous Sri Sampradaya leader, extremely famous all over the world, some few years back. So I myself and two, three devotees, we found him in Sri Rangam, and we had been trying to have his audience, for many years. And we went to him and we said, Prabhuji, he gave us somehow, he agreed to give us some time, and we took his couple of hours. We said, Prabhuji, you are such a great devotee, such a great scholar. You're famous all over the world. You're a very senior person. You're as good as a sannyasi or a spiritual master. So we want to request you that you please, um, like, there are so many Tamil Sri Vaishnava families who are like they are very ardent followers of Sri Sampradaya, but their kids are no longer becoming devotees. The next generation. So they are youngsters, and if they can be trained in bhakti, then it'll be so good for the world. Otherwise, what will happen to next generation? You know, from today. He said, why should I bother about all these people? Are they bothering for me or for the sampradaya? We said, no, no, we should have compassion. We should. The youngsters are the key to the next generation. If you want to take the sampradaya to the next generation, he said, yeah, we want to take, but who will take the headache of all these youngsters don't come easily. And he said, yeah, I know you ISKCON people are very much into youngsters. And he said, that is nice, but it is big headache. You have to collect so much money, and arrange for the place. And these people, you have to feed them freely, and they have all the tantrums they will throw. Will they learn? So we asked Prabhuji, what is the average age of your audience? He said around 60. So we asked him, what will be the answer to the next generation when the Sri Sampradaya temples will be taken over by governments or all these converted Christians? What will be the answer? They will say, you had the opportunity to train the generation, the young generation, you didn't. So we told him that, see, nobody will hear us because Tamil people already have a Tamil type of feeling, and on the top of that, Sri Sampradaya and this Sampradaya difference. So we are trying to preach to youngsters, but so many thousands of Tamil youngsters, they're simply going for jobs and abroad and this and that. They're misusing their Brahmanical intelligence. So please, you be the face. You don't worry about. He said, who will raise all the money? Who will make all the arrangement? We said, we will do from the back, and you be the front. Because if you invite them, they will have faith to come. Of course, we knew it. Later on, they will also chant Hare Krishna only. But the point was that he has to agree to, collaborate. So he said, why to bother? I am preaching on online. If they want, they can join my course. He said, Prabhuji, youngsters don't join courses like that. They get bored if you simply study from, some text and just speak in a boring way. It doesn't work with them. You have to be relevant. You have to make it interesting. You have to engage them. He said, who will take botheration of all this? And then we reminded him of Ramanujacharya. What about in Goshtipur, Ramanujacharya? He was willing to go to hell. He said, yeah, I'll think about it. And he rejected us, actually, sent us away. He just said, okay, give your phone number. I'll call. Never called. Still waiting. So, of course, he was good. He was trying his way. He was telling that my son was working with an IT company. Now I asked him to resign and now I'm training him fully. So he's my next generation. But he's just one person. So the idea is that Prabhupada was a preacher, he was an acharya. He felt concerned about the audience. He was not just a teacher, not just a Brahmana. What is the difference? Prabhupada would, when he was preaching in New York, Prabhupada would see, oh, today this person has not come. He would go and search in the streets. Where is he? Hey, he's eating donut. Actually, Prabhupada would call it do not. Prabhupada said, what is this do nots? They said, Prabhupada, this is donut. Prabhupada said, this is do, it's called and do nots. What is Prabhupada? And then Prabhupada said, hey, what is the ingredient in this? There must be egg in this. And then Prabhupada go to that shop. These early day devotees, they would hide below the tables actually. Hey, Swamiji has come. And Prabhupada would go and catch. What are you doing here? Class is going on. Yeah, and like kids actually. So Prabhupada would take them back. You know. Prabhupada said, you like do nots? I will cook rasgullas, I will cook gulab jamuns, I'll give you. That was Prabhupada actually. So my point is, Prabhupada tried to be relevant. Initially, Prabhupada saw his accent was not understandable because it was British English, and on the top of that, thick Bengali accent. So Prabhupada changed in few months. If you hear the recordings na, of the first 1 or 2 years, you can clearly see Prabhupada trying to shift little bit in his accent. He's able to do that, and then they were able to understand. And Prabhupada would try to make it relevant. You see his examples, his analogies given in his books. He's really trying to be relevant. And he would, when Prabhupada saw some of the ladies, some of the young girls, Prabhupada said, you should be married. But then they would not find the right people. Na? And sometimes, like some young girls, they would be crying that, Prabhupada, what should I do? There are so many young boys after me, and, the culture here is. So Prabhupada would not understand why, you know. Then Prabhupada understood, somebody explained to him that what is the culture in the West. So Prabhupada said, I am your father, don't worry, I will protect you. I didn't know that your parents don't look after you after your teenage. It's very strange. In India, it cannot be. A girl is always under protection of either parents or husband. How can this be? How can you be alone? And Prabhupada said, I will make a brahmacharini ashram. That was the beginning of a brahmacharini ashram. This is called preacher, pracharak, not teacher, not just a teacher. Teacher will tell you literal meaning. And Prabhupada often, twists the meaning. Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, in Karma Yoga chapter, he's talking about Karma Yoga. Prabhupada says in purport, little purport to Krishna, that Krishna is trying to say this, but one should practice Bhakti Yoga. This is Acharya. You know. So Prabhupada's compassion would overflow even over and above what Krishna says. Krishna says in 18th chapter, one should not go to the envious people and tell them about the secret message of Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada says in the purport, Krishna may say like this, but Krishna's devotees take risk out of love for him. So we should go. Prabhupada is next level actually. So Prabhupada is not like typical Brahmanas or Vedic people talking about literal meaning. There is no meaning, there is no word like attendance, but Prabhupada says in the translation itself, regular attendance in Srimad Bhagavatam classes. And you may question from where did he bring this? Prabhupada says, you know, Krishna is telling this only. So Prabhupada actually translated from heart, taking the spirit of Krishna. In fact, doubling the spirit of Krishna. That was the spirit of Lord Chaitanya. So that's what this uh, professor is trying to say, that he was not just another textual scholar. Thomas Hopkins commented that Srila Prabhupada had bridged an enormous cultural gap by his purports. Scripture that was originally composed for people in a completely different cultural milieu was being made applicable to Westerners. He adds, the kind of teaching that really makes an impact is the kind where you know that someone is speaking out of his own experience. You certainly get that sense with Bhaktivedanta Swami. When that wealth of knowledge and insight is processed through the mind and experience of a holy person, it emerges as a statement of his own understanding. What he's trying to say is that Prabhupada was a practitioner of the teaching which he was giving. So he was a like living scripture. Actually, a very simple example of this, like uh, we have these two, three devotees in Varanasi who are studying, who are formally studying Hindu studies, post graduation and PhD in BHU University. Especially like last few years after Modi ji has introduced IKS. So, so this, but unfortunately the professors and the students, like almost all of them, they are just scholarly people. So they know a lot, definitely. That's why they are there. But they don't practice anything. They wear pant shirt. They don't wear tilak. Some of them do sometimes, but they themselves don't know what they are following, and they have no clear idea of the conclusions of the Vedas. Obviously, most of them have impersonal understanding. So many times when the classroom becomes chaotic with some arguments and all, because this is a subject matter where there is no like who would give the conclusion. So our devotees go there in dhoti kurta in the university with tilak, kanti mala. So even professors finally respectfully ask them, "आप ही बताओ कि भाई, you know, what do scriptures want to say?" So this is so ridiculous. Actually, people are made authorities. People are made teachers while they themselves are not clear because they're not practicing. There's no practice. Sometimes you ask a person, okay, some path you practice, Baba, then you argue. Without practice, like it's like talking about cooking without practicing. Actually, unless you actually cook, you can never write. How can you write a cookbook without cooking? It's not possible. How can you talk about parenting without caring for anybody? It will be just a theory, actually. So it's like that. So therefore, they say that when Prabhupada spoke, when Prabhupada preached, it was different. It's not just some other person speaking. So see, where you know that someone is speaking out of his own experience. Along with translations and commentaries on the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Prabhupada also wrote summary studies of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna book. The summary studies have a different flavor than the Bhaktivedanta purports. They are more conversational in tone. We sometimes read phrases like Krishna said, as I said in the Bhagavad Gita. So Prabhupada took this liberty, speaking on behalf of Krishna. Krishna never spoke such sentences, but Prabhupada would say, Krishna said. So you may say, how can Prabhupada claim that? Prabhupada can claim that actually. Because if you see the rest of his life, yeah, this person is as good as, you know, power of attorney of Krishna is given to him, which makes it seem like Prabhupada is taking liberties with the text. Prabhupada said, summary study means I can do as I like. So sometimes Prabhupada was very stubborn person. In one conversation, Prabhupada is telling that actually, my disciples should follow what I say because even my father would follow what I said. I was, I was such a stubborn child, you know, that if I said something, it has to be done. I would request, I would cry, I would fight, but it had to be done. Either with my friends or with my parents. There was never a time that when I said something and it was not done. I would make sure it is done. And you are my disciple, you must follow. Really, Prabhupada. In one conversation, so this conversation actually, his holiness Radhanath Maharaj, when he came. in January, February to Prayagraj. So he personally read with us. So in that conversation, Prabhupada is writing, Prabhupada is sharing with some disciples that actually my father was a great devotee, but he was a different type of person. He would invite sadhus, whichever type of sadhus, he would just invite them to my home, to our home, and he would ask my mother, please cook for them and let us feed them prasad. And my mother would wonder, sometimes it was too much and she was not able to. But my father was very persistent. No, no, we have to serve the sadhus. And he said that sometimes my mother would get bewildered with these sadhus because some of them would ask for ganja. That along with prasad, give me ganja. And my father would say, hey, sadhu is asking for ganja, let me go and bring ganja. So he would bring ganja also and he would give them in the plate. Please take ganja also. Like that, different people would ask different things, different. And my father would serve all the kinds of sadhus. And he would ask them then very humbly for blessing me to become devotee of Radharani. So Prabhupada said, I grew up seeing all this, you know. So I am not like my father. I discriminate between sadhus. I chastise those sadhus. I condemn those sadhus. And my father would serve everyone. Shiva devotee, this devotee, that devotee, Durga devotee. I discriminate. Because my spiritual master taught me to discriminate. So I don't invite the other sadhus. Okay. But my father was also a pure devotee. So like that he says. So Radhanath Maharaj was laughing like I am like Prabhupada's father. I also associated with so many sadhus. Any type of sadhu. Prabhupada gave some general hints on how his books should be approached. They should not be read haphazardly. The purports can be likened to the compositions of Mozart, Beethoven, or Bach. To an uneducated ear, they appear to be all the same, but to a student of musicology, each composition has its own particular style. Each purport is similarly constructed in its own way and can be appreciated and learned. Although we may tend to think that the purports are repetitious, we have to learn to appreciate them by regularly hearing them and learning to savor their uniqueness. So, this is a very important point that purports are actually unique, but they seem, because they are very simple and they are concurrent to the central teaching of Bhagavatam, therefore, sometimes some of them seem to be repetitious while they are not. In fact, Prabhupada actually did a favor to us by skipping so many unnecessary things from Prabhupada, from Acharya's commentaries. Otherwise, we would be having 4 times the size of Bhagavad what we have today. And I doubt how many of us would have even bothered to take it actually, Just looking at it would have fallen unconscious. Even today's Bhagavatam is not that easy. So imagine that. But wherever required, Prabhupada's purports were mostly cross references from other texts or commentaries on each word, the key words of the many places you can see here this word is very important, this word is very vital, this is the most important principle being spoken here. And Prabhupada would quote, if there is some very important principle, Prabhupada would quote some Acharya. According to Srila Jiva Goswami in his commentary, according to Srila Madhvacharya, according to Chakravarti Thakur, according to Baladev Vidyabhushan, Prabhupada would quote like that. The books should not be read separate from practical engagement in Krishna consciousness. Philosophy must be there, but if you do not also apply the philosophy by participating in all temple affairs, then simply learning the philosophy will have no effect. We should also study his books more than just in the morning Bhagavatam class. Ideally, devotees should attend the evening program and also do the same, also do some individual reading on their own. See, this is another thing. If you check today, unfortunately, many devotees who do not have the facility to take up the Bhakti Shastri course, the Bhakti Vaibhav course in their own places, they go to Vrindavan, they go to Mayapur, or even worse, they do it online. Why it is not so proper? Of course, if there is no other way, then that is okay. Because Shastric study has to be done, has to be coupled with Vyavahar, Sadachar, Sadhana, and Sambandha and Seva. So Shastric study, just the scholarly study, does not give the realization. There has to be Seva, there has to be Sadhana, there has to be Sadachar, there has to be Sambandha. If you check Chaitanya Charitamrita, if you check Srimad Bhagavatam, both Canto 1st and Canto 2, like spoken by Shukdev Goswami, spoken by Sudha Goswami. If you check Bhagavad Gita, okay, anywhere where there is a conversation, even there are multiple conversations within the Bhagavatam, between Vidura and Maitreya, okay, between Yudhishthira and Narada, anywhere you check, there is a deep relationship of respect and appreciation between the speaker and the students. If if that respect and faith and appreciation is there, and if that feeling of compassion and love is there from the speaker side also, then the exchange of the shastric knowledge is on a different level altogether. But when it is just done academically, okay, someone is put as a teacher and he has no idea how to be relevant to these guys, he has no feeling from his heart, then it goes down actually. And they also don't have appreciation for him, like beyond a general thing, okay, he has been just appointed. So, plus, it has to be coupled with the sadachar aspect. How do we relate with other people, other devotees, you know? Then it has to be coupled with sadhana. It has to be coupled with seva. Many times in the yajna, even in the karma kandi yajnas, you can see that. Like I saw one place, one yajna. So the yajman was sitting, the host family, but they had not kept any money with them. So when the yajna concluded, there was nothing to give dakshina. So they said, "अरे पंडित जी हम बाद में आपको भिजवाएंगे." Like Pandit ji said, he took out from his own wallet. You keep this as a person I am giving you. But now as a like as your priest, as your brahmana, you must give me dakshina. Otherwise, this is not done. You will not get the effect of the yajna. No problem. You may not give me later on anything, but yajna should be completed. You know. So that verse is there, na 4.34. That there must be seva. There must be prashna. There must be seva. You know. So sorry, I'm sorry, I forgot the link why I told this. So the last thing I told. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Prabhupada's books actually should be studied, if possible, under some guidance also. And there must be sadhana, sadachar, and seva and sambandha. Without that, simply that shastric study will have very minimal effect. Yeah. So that's what Prabhupada is saying here. That there should be participation in temple affairs. Some devotees find it helpful to take notes while reading, others find it this distracting. Some like to cross reference as they study. It is also nice to read and write down everything you remember from the reading at the very end. Some read more in the mode of prayer. There are no hard and fast rules. Simply read Prabhupada's books. So don't get confused. Some may say you can write on the book itself. Like I am also of that school of thought. Some say no, no, no. This is Krishna, non different from Krishna. Don't touch it. But some others say, hey, writing is like decoration on that deity. Like I have two superiors who are both my authorities, who are both totally opposite. So I keep two Bhagavatam sets because because I get scolded. Once he's like that, he's hey now. I keep like okay, this is the so you have to see, but both are in glorification of Krishna only. So it doesn't matter. The point is simply read Prabhupada's books. Doesn't matter from Kindle. Some may say don't read from electronic. You should be traditional. You somehow or other read Baba. Some say no, I can only hear audiobooks. ठीक है, you hear audiobooks. Somehow or other, ये न केन प्रकारेण mana Krishna neveshati. The Prabhupada's purports are full of his personality. He was a good writer with a strong voice. Sometimes exchanges he was having with his disciples would carry into his writing. And he would take the opportunity to preach to the whole world through one devotee's success or failure. In the fourth canto, he mentioned Govinda Dasi's successful transplanting of the Tulasi plant. You know this famous one, na? Actually, Actually, when I first went to West, I saw it's very difficult actually for them to have tulasi. Many of the grahastha devotees they make a small greenhouse, actually, and in that they keep couple of tulasis and grow. They make that effort and they invest the money also, in that, because they have to put heater in that. And then in Elephant Gajendra's crisis, he discusses a disciple's fall from sannyas. He also often drew from his own practical experiences among the Westerners. Therefore, we read statements such as the following, like how Daksha cursed Narad Muni. So Prabhupada writes there, I have also been cursed. Although I have many centers that would be suitable places of residence, I cannot stay anywhere. For I have been cursed by the parents of my young disciples. Since the Krishna consciousness movement was started, I have traveled all over the world 2 or 3 times a year. And although I am provided comfortable places to stay wherever I go, I cannot stay anywhere for more than 3 days or a week. I do not mind this curse by the parents of my disciples, but now it is necessary that I stay in one place to finish another task, this translation of Srimad Bhagavatam. If my young disciples, especially those who have taken sannyas, take charge of traveling all over the world, it may be possible for me to transfer the curse of the parents to these young preachers. Then I may sit down conveniently in one place for the work of translation. Actually, uh, my mother often would tell me, she still tells me whenever I meet her, you know, that बेटा है ना यंग लड़कों को प्रचार मत करना, है? नहीं तो जैसे मेरी हाय है ना वैसे उनकी माँ बाप की हाय तुझे लगेगी. So one time, one of our brahmacharis, so his parents, they came and they were saying कि कौन है वो, कौन किस कहाँ है वो, बताओ तुम्हारे गुरुजी कहाँ है. तो अभी टेक्निकली हम गुरुजी नहीं है लेकिन वो बोलती यही गुरुजी हैं. तो ये पेरेंट्स बोले, बाद में बोल के गए, हम तुमको बता रहे हैं, है ना, तुम्हारी वजह से इन्होंने हमको दुख दिया है, तुमको भी ये लोग दुख देंगे. मैंने बोला वो ऑलरेडी होता है, यंग ब्रह्मचारी मतलब, टू कीप देम सेटिस्फाइड, इट्स, you know you might think that it is not painful, it's quite painful, but we are happy to do take care of that. So actually you see Prabhupada is talking about that I have to finish my translation work. So I heard this in lecture of his holiness Giriraj Maharaj, very amazing actually. He shares, there was this was in Juhu, I believe in 1974, around that time. Exact year I do, but it's definitely around 1974. It was an evening time, around 7 p.m. when Gaur Aarti just begins. And Prabhupada was in his fifth floor quarters. And it was Ekadashi day. And Prabhupada just finished the last purport of Chaitanya Charitamrita Antalila. And Prabhupada called Giriraj Maharaj, who was his assistant secretary that time. And Prabhupada, with tears in eyes, he says, Giriraj, today my life is successful. Now I can die. Now anytime Krishna can do anything with me. Why? So Giriraj Maharaj was surprised. Like Prabhupada was very happy, very, very happy. So he asked Prabhupada, like, what? Prabhupada said, I am in ecstasy. Today my life is successful because my spiritual master gave me 2 orders. I have completed both. My spiritual master told me to establish Krishna consciousness, preach in English language all over the world. Now I think I have done sufficiently and it will go on. All of you are there. And second, which I was worried about, he told me to write books. So I'm trying to complete the Srimad Bhagavatam. At least I've completed majority of it, and I'm writing Krishna book. But I was also worried about Chaitanya Charitamrita. Bhagavad Gita I have written, Bhagavatam I have written mostly, and I was worried about Chaitanya Charitamrita because what will this world do without Lord Chaitanya? यदि गौर न होई तो तबे की होई तो हे मोने धरी तांबे. He's telling that I wanted to give Lord Chaitanya's teachings, his life, his precepts, his example should be known to people. And today I have completed Chaitanya Charitamrita Antalila. And Prabhupada writes something from this sharing in actually Chaitanya Charitamrita also. So if you read there after the last purport, Prabhupada has written. some things like this. So Prabhupada tells to Giriraj Maharaj, now I just want to take rest for some time. Tell nobody should come. And that was the strangest evening when Prabhupada took rest at 7 p.m. Rest, matlab, I don't know whether he took rest or something, but he was like, he just wanted to be alone. He was just enjoying his success. But you see, what does he consider to be success? Not having all these disciples, not having said, I have completed the instructions given by my spiritual master. Actually, this, whenever I feel low in my life or some chaotic situation happen, if I just meditate on this Prabhupada's love for Lord Chaitanya and Krishna and Prabhupada's loving service to that nourishes the heart so much actually. Krishna's love for devotees, as Krishna, Lord Ramachandra, and many other avatars they exhibit in their pastimes. How can they? How can Krishna give Putana the place of his own mother, his own mother's assistant in the spiritual world? It's like someone who came to loot you, you made him your head accountant, your chartered accountant. How can you do that? You hand over all your checkbooks also. And Lord Ramachandra, how can he, what kind of, Jatayu had not done anything. Like he could not complete the task. But how Lord Ramachandra was for Vanaras, how he embraced Hanuman, how he felt for Bharat. He even loved KK. Not even 1% is love dropped. Even when KK, did what she did. So when we look at the character of Krishna, when we look at the character of Lord Ramachandra, and especially Lord Chaitanya, no words actually. And then we see Prabhupada, his love, how much compassionate he was, you know. Like one Prabhupada disciple who is a spiritual master in ISKCON, so I don't want to name him. He personally told me in Mayapur, we were taking darshan of Radha Madhav and Ashtasakis, and we just suddenly got surprised. Oh, Maharaj is here, and he was. I don't remember what happened. We just talked something. Two of us were there, and he said, "You know what? Prabhupada is so merciful." And then he told us it was Kartik time actually. Prabhupada disappearance day was also there, and he told us, "I left Prabhupada 3 times while Prabhupada was alive. 3 times I left. I went back to Maya, and every time I was wondering because when I again got kicks and I got frustrated and realizations came, I would again come back to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada, like my ever well-wishing friend, like my father, he never chastised me. He spoke some harsh words, but he always, with great love, accepted me back. He said, I'm really, really, really because of Prabhupada. You are really because of Prabhupada. I'm really, really, really because of Prabhupada. So one another spiritual master, he told us once in GBC meeting we were doing services. So he was sharing with us, I used to live with dogs. And Prabhupada allowed me to become Krishna's dog. I was so dirty. He was telling us details. Said I was a hippie. I was even hippie amongst hippies. Because other hippies would call me dirty. So, and, Prabhupada also talks about the court cases, especially in New York, which were put on ISKCON. So you can find this in Chaitanya Charitamrita purports. Chaitanya Charitamrita purports, Prabhupada writes many such things because Prabhupada was facing them. And in the first canto, because that time Prabhupada was alone in Vrindavan. Prabhupada often showed his great determination to continue writing despite the material circumstances, like that time his typewriter was stolen on the Bowery or in Bombay. Yeah. So there are many other things, but I think we'll stop here. We'll just conclude with the second song. Can we sing Prabhu for 10 minutes? Second song. So you can also read this chapter if you wish. It's a very beautiful chapter actually. Yeah, see this. This is last three, four paragraphs only were there. Last paragraph I'm reading. Individually and as a movement, we can always improve and increase our capacity to hear Krishna Katha from our spiritual master. Prabhupada's books are a real unifying principle. They provide the true direction for the whole society. We can increase the Krishna consciousness movement by reading more. The more we read, the more we will want to read. Like anything in Krishna consciousness, we have to start at whatever platform we are on and take a step forward. There is nowhere to go but to the shelter of Prabhupada's lotus feet. So actually, if we are just left in some island with Prabhupada's books and our chanting beads, that is sufficient. Because Prabhupada's books are so revealing, actually. They just, Prakashante Mahatmana, they just reveal Krishna's heart to us. So, so we can worship Srila Prabhupada truly by reading his books, his purports. Krishna also says, na, you can worship this sacred conversation of mine with Arjuna by reading Bhagavad Gita. So let us um, sing this second song. This is a different beat. You can play on that beat. बड़ो कृपा कैले कृष्ण अधमेरा प्रति
बड़ो
बड़ो
कृपा
कृपा
कैले
कैले
कृष्ण
कृष्ण
आधा
अधमेरा
मेरा प्रति
प्रति किलागिया नीले हेता पुरोए बेगति
किलागिया
लागिया
नीले
नीले
हेता
हेता
करो
पुरोए
ए बेगति
बेगति. My dear Lord Krishna, you're so kind upon this useless soul, but I do not know why you have brought me here. Now you can do whatever you like with me. He's speaking this when he has reached US land. He, actually, he went out in Boston. He saw for a few hours because the ship was stationed for a day. He saw for a few hours the the culture, the civilization, and Prabhupada was like, "What nonsense! How will these people ever become devotees?" See, Boston is already cold. Boston is like really cold. Somehow Prabhupada landed there only first. And somehow whatever experience he got, when Indians usually go to West, they go, "Oh." And Prabhupada totally opposite. He felt pity, full ignorance and passion. When I first time went, so the, this, those devotees, they were asking, "So Prabhu, how you felt?" I said, "It is fantastic because the cleanliness and the organization, and no traffic, like these kind of things, I can I can stay one more lifetime in this material world extra as a service if it can come to India, because in India traffic, pollution, and so many things. But I felt I would better be in India because here everywhere there is cow flesh. Wherever you see there's cow flesh, and in all the airlines they're drinking wine. So I told next time I'll go with an Indian airline. At least they don't serve beef. Afterwards, I've been trying to go with just because I don't want to see whether this side, that side, everybody is eating beef. And sometimes the air hostess, if you're like little bit like this, they just put only, on your table. I don't want to touch the table also now that tray, na. So, so anyways, Prabhupada was not at all impressed. Prabhupada was like, আছে কিছু কার্য তব এই অনুমানে
আছে
আছে
কিছু
কিছু
কার্য
কার্য
তব
তব
এই
এই
অনুমানে
অনুমানে নহে কেন আনিবে না এই উগ্র স্থানে
নাহে কেন
আনিবে
আনিবে
না
না
এই
এই
উগ্র
উগ্র
স্থানে
স্থানে
रजस्तम गुणे एरा सबाई आछन्ना
রাজস্তম
रजस्तम
গুণে
गुणे
আরা
एरा
সবাই
सबाई
আছনা
आछन्ना वासुदेव कथा रुचि नहे से प्रसन्ना
বাসুদেব কথা
कथा
রুচি নাহি সে প্রসন্ন
Prasanna. Most of the population here is covered by the material modes of ignorance and passion. Absorbed in material life, they think themselves very happy and satisfied. Therefore, they have no taste for the transcendental message of Vasudeva. I do not know how they will be able to understand it, hmm, but I'm sure they will be able to understand it. In the same song, he's telling two extremes. Why? By mercy of Krishna. तबे जदि तव कृपा होए अहै तुकी।
હવે જાદી તબ કૃપા હોય આહી તુકી
सकले संभव होय तुम्ही से कौतुकी।
સકાલે સંભવ હોય તુમે સે કૌતુકી
But I know your causeless mercy can make everything possible because you are the most expert mystic. ही भावे बुझाले तारा बुझे से रसा।
કે ભાવે બુઝાલે તાર બુઝે સે રસા
एत कृपा कुरु प्रभु पुरीने जवशा।
એતા કૃપા કરો પ્રભુ કરી નીચ બસા
How will they understand the mellows of devotional service? Oh Lord, I'm simply praying for your mercy so that I'll be able to convince them about your message. See, he doesn't, this is the right attitude of a devotee. He does not feel helpless, but he does feel helpless. He feels fully confident and yet feels fully helpless. How? On my own, I'm useless, I'm helpless, I'm powerless. But if your mercy is there, I'm fully confident it will happen. This is exactly the right attitude for a preacher. Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur also sings, na? Says that when I, what is that verse you remember? That in that Vaishnav song he says, na, uh, योग्यता है ना, योग्यता नहीं, huh? What, how does it begin? How does it begin? योग्यता विचारे किछु नहीं पाए तुम्हार करुणा सारा. He says, when I think of my own योग्यता, I don't find anything. सब कुछ तुम्हारा करुणा है. Your mercy, everything. That is the only thing I'm composed of. Hmm? So this is the right attitude for a devotee actually. तुम्हार इच्छाय सब होए माया वशा. तुम्हारा
તમારા
इच्छाय
ઈચ્છાય
सब
સબ હોય માયા બસા
तुम्हारा इच्छाय नाश मायार परश.
તમારા ઈચ્છાય
इच्छाय
નાશ
नाश
માયાર
मायार पर.
પરસા
आपकी इच्छा से ये मायावश हो गए और आप ही की इच्छा से माया से तर जाएंगे, है ना? By your desire only they can come out of Maya also. तब इच्छा होए जदि तादेर उद्धार. तब
તવ
इच्छा
ઈચ્છા હોય
होए
જદી
जदि
તારે
उद्धार.
ઉદ્ધાર
बुझिबे निश्चय तबे कथा से तुम्हारा.
বুঝিবে নিশ্চয় তবে কথা সে তোমারা
I wish that you may deliver them. Therefore, if you so desire their deliverance, then only they will be able to understand your message. भागवतेर कथा से तब अवतारा.
ভাগবতের কথা
से
তব
तब
অবতারা
अवतारा. धीर हैया सुने जदि काने बार बार.
ধীর হইয়া শুনে যদি কানে বার বার
So Prabhupada has taken it from Sri Ishopanishad that one should hear Bhagavatam, the scriptures from a Dhira Vyakti. Bhagavater Katha se Tava Avatara. You have come as an incarnation of Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishne Sudhamopagate Dharma Jnana Dibhi Saha Kalau Nashta Drishamesha Puranarko Dhunodita. Prabhupada is remembering that how Krishna says that Ms. Bhagavatam says that Krishna has gone, but he has also remained in this world, reincarnated as Srimad Bhagavatam. He says, if simply they hear with submissive oral reception, they will become your devotees. And therefore, inspired with this great confidence and faith in Bhagavatam, Prabhupada remembers those words of Bhagavatam from first canto, second chapter, where Vishnu Chakra Thakur has given revolutionary purports. that it is not by Krishna's mercy that people become devotees. It is by the mercy of a devotee. Only bhakti can inspire bhakti. Bhakti sanjayate bhakti. A devotee cannot make someone devotee. Krishna does not make someone devotee. How does someone become a devotee? When the causeless mercy in the form of the bhakti from the heart of a Madhyamadikari inspire, inspires the person who is coming with little faith, and then bhakti is established in his heart also. Bhakti sanjayate bhakti. So Prabhupada quotes exactly those verses that simply they have to hear. So this is the foundation of our movement. Hearing Srimad Bhagavatam and hearing the holy name with little faith. Shinvatam swakatha Krishna punya shavana kirtana hridyantasto yabhadrani विधुनति सुहृत्सतां नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी तदा रजस्तमो भाव कामलोभादयश्च ये चेतयेतैरनावेद्धम् स्थितं सत्त्वे प्रसीदति एवं प्रसन्नमनसो भगवद्भक्तियोगतः भगवत्तत्त्वविज्ञानं मुक्तसङ्गस्य जायते भिद्यते हृदयग्रन्थिश्छिद्यन्ते सर्वसंशया क्षीयन्ते चास्य कर्माणि दृष्ट एवात्मनीश्वरे. So you know this, that how simply when one hears the submissive oral reception, the message of Srimad Bhagavatam, no, then the Krishna personally cleanses the desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his message. So by developing the eagerness to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna personally comes inside our heart and cleanses. What a beautiful description, na? So there is a verse in the second canto, 8th chapter, which says, Shanvata Shraddhaya Nityam Grunatascha Swacheshtitam Kalena Nati Dirghena Bhagavan Vishate Ridhi. You know, please install the app called Krishna in the cell phone of your heart, in the smartphone of your heart. You know, and very soon, actually वही कह रहे हैं ना, भगवान विशते रिधि, Krishna will be installed in your heart. तो अभी आजकल इंस्टॉल करने का बड़ा like people have a lot of eagerness to install. They can install Krishna app in the heart. Srimad Bhagavatam app. See, Prabhupada again, by regular attendance in classes and by rendering of service to the pure deity. All that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed in loving service. रजस्तमोहते तवे पाइबे निस्तारा
रजस्तमोहते
रजस्तमोहते
तबे पाइबे निस्तारा
हृदयेरा भद्र सते घुचिबे ताहर
हृदयेरा भद्र सते गुछिबे ताहर
কি করে বুঝাবো কথা বড় সেই চাহি
করে বোঝাবো কথা বারো সে চাহি
ক্ষুদ্র আমি দিনহীন কোনো শক্তি নাহি
ক্ষুদ্রামে দিনাহীন
না
কোনো
কোনো
শক্তি
শক্তি
নাহি
নাহি অথচ এনেছো প্রভু কথা বলিবারে
অথচ এনেছ প্রভু কথা বলিবারে
এ তোমার ইচ্ছা প্রভু করো এইবারে
যে তোমারা ইচ্ছা
ইচ্ছা
প্রভু
প্রভু
করো
করো
এইবারে
এইবারে It's up to you, my Lord. Now you brought me here. You make me success or you make me a failure. It's up to you. अखिल जगत गुरु वचन से अमार,
अखिल
अखिल
जगत
जगत
गुरु
गुरु
बचन
वचन
से अमर
अलंकृत कुरिबार क्षमता तुम्हारा,
परिवार क्षमता
क्षमता
तुम्हारा।
तुम्हारा. I am simply repeating your message. You are actually the guru of entire world, not me. Hmm? But if you like, you can make my power of speaking suitable for their understanding. See, he's telling you only will make my words suitable also. My God, what a तव कृपा हले मोर कथा शुद्ध हवे,
तब
तव कृपा
कृपाले
हले
मोरा
मोर
कथा शुद्ध हवे
शुनिया सबार शोक दुख जे गुचिबे.
दुनिया सवार शोक दुख खजे गुचिवे
So they will become happy and gladdened simply by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. आणि आछो जदि प्रभु हमारे ना चाहते, आणि
अच्छा
आछो
यदि
जदि
प्रभु
प्रभु
हमारे
हमारे
ना
ना
चाहते
चाहते, नाचाओ प्रभु नाचाओ से मते,
न चाहो न चाहो प्रभु न चाहो से मते
काष्ठेर पुतली जथा नाचाओ से मते.
तेरा पुतले जाथा न चाहो से मते
Make me dance the way you like, make me dance. No? I'm just like a puppet in your hands. Difficult to mean that. Prabhupada is really meaning it. Therefore, he finally says, Bhakti nahi veda nahi name खूब दारो,
भक्ति
भक्ति
नाही
नाहि
वेदा
वेदा
नाही
नाहि
नामे खूब दारो
दारो, भक्ति वेदांत नाम एबे सार्थक करो.
भक्ति वेदांत नाम एव सार्थक करो
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे.
हरे
हरे
कृष्णा
कृष्णा
कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे
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 हरे,
हरे
हरे
राम
राम
हरे
हरे
राम
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 हरे
हरे हरे.
हरे
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय
जय
प्रभुपाद.
जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद
जय जय
जय
प्रभुपाद
प्रभुपाद
प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय
प्रभुपाद
जय
जय
प्रभुपाद
निताय गौर हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल गौर हरि बोल.
नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि
हरि
बोल नित्य गौर
बोल.
हरि बोल
We offer our prayers at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada on this holy auspicious day, that we can also follow in the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada and follow the teachings given by Srila Prabhupada and all our spiritual masters, and we can together as one team share Krishna consciousness, and engage everyone in chanting and dancing in the Sankirtan mission of Lord Chaitanya. Gauranga Nityananda Srila Prabhupada ki.
जय
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity once again. I thank His Grace Narhari Chaitanya Prabhu and all the leaders here, um, for their unprecedented devotional service actually. Despite so many struggles and ups and downs here in Bangalore earlier, um, such beautiful example of service attitude, So such missionary spirit among Grihasthas here. So I find it very, very exemplary actually, and I really pray that many more Grihasthas like this take example and inspiration from all of you and make Prabhupada's mission as their life and soul and establish communities and centers of Krishna consciousness movement many, many places all over the world. Hare Krishna.
His Grace Achyut Mohan Prabhu ki
Srila
jai.
Prabhupada ki jai.
So today, as it was the day of Srila Prabhupada reaching the Boston, so I requested him to share from the life of Prabhupada, and he would do this singing of songs and explaining it many places. It was very inspiring. How many of you felt it was inspiring? So that goes to show that he has to come back again to few more days at least to be here and share some things.
I am
To,
Prabhu's servant. Prabhu was my senior in college
so
and he is
as
still senior friend.
many of you hearing from him for the first time, I'll just uh, tell about Achyut Mohan Prabhu, introduce him. So he came to Surathkal in 2004 for his studies uh, in chemical engineering, and is born and brought up in a Vaishnava family from Neemach in Madhya Pradesh. And his grandfather was also one of the like kind of he was a in Dhar in Indore, near Indore. He was living as a kind of a village mukhya or something. Then there was one Radha Damodar temple,
Nathdwara temple,
Nathdwara temple.
Srinathji temple.
Yeah,
He was one of the Sevites.
so he was one of the savage. So that way, right from the childhood, he had this, and he had a lot of spiritual inclination. So when he came to the Suratkal, when the initial programs were happening, when I was also attending the in the programs in the college only. At that time, I would see somebody like no volunteering and all. I thought, oh, he's also one of the like no the club member or the this one. But then later I came to know his first year who is attending with us only, and he is so volunteering. But despite while being in the first year, it was quite challenging. He was from Rajasthan. This one, there a lot of ragging used to happen. Despite all those things, every day, very soon he started coming for the Mangalarti in the boys, and he would be there like now. He was the first who would inspire and wake up others and come to the this one. And right from the beginning only, he had this heart of that whatever is mine, it belongs to Krishna. So that way he had a tape recorder, CD player. So he brought and kept it so that all the devotees can hear the kirtans. So, and he was quite leaderly right from the beginning. Even when he was in the hostel itself, he was in the first year only was like no taking the lead, which even the third year, final year would not do for the college benefit as a college benefit. The same thing he exhibited even in the devotional service also. When he came to second year, he had come to Kharagpur for the summer this one courses, and then from there he was sick, but still he went all the way back to Suratkal just to establish the boys club. And Haridev Krishna Prabhu, they all have seen these days when the college would send the buses to go to Udupi or Pajaka Kshetra for taking the boys to the camp. And then the college would take the buses, and then they would have their programs, and then the college would bring us back. So that was he was quite instrumental in making that club established there. And after passing out also, he was few days he was in Bangalore, and he would travel to Trichy and other places also. And meanwhile, while he was here, he was Rashampra had lot of uh, he what I can say the trust or the dependency, or he could what I can say trustworthiness I can say. And he took a lot of responsibilities. Just as soon as we have seen this folio where like we can search and all like that, he had made for the with a group of devotees, he had made for the youth preaching related Rajshamba's lecture and all the other materials and all. He had made this one youth preaching encyclopedia which he brought out. And after that, he worked for a few years, and in 2011 he joined in Pune. And just after joining few months, that time only that the big temple this was happening and all the time. Then Rashampra had just given one day, he called him in Guru Puja and he told that Prabhu, most you may have to go to like the Bangalore. Is it okay? Then immediately in one day he had planned out like, no, okay, Bangalore, which all colleges are there, what all can be done, which all programs can be done, all those things he had chalked out, and like he had like now gone and showed to Rasham Proji, like now this all can be done, these programs can be done and all. And just the next day or after 2 days, Rasham said, I think there is some change. Maybe right now there may not be need. Maybe later we'll see. Right now you can go to Kanpur. So immediately the whole plan changed as per the like need or the desire of our superior. So that is his lesson. So when he went to Kanpur also, he took up a lot of responsibilities, especially in the youth preaching, right? Bringing from the scratch, like making the whole youth preaching stand up, and now it is thriving. And there he established, and he was instrumental in making this expression. Those of you have heard in 2016 when they wanted to have this Prabhupada's 50th year of the ISKCON incorporation. So that year, first time they did expression. The temple is almost around 5 to 6 kilometers from the city, and it was quite like now how the so many students will come and all. They got almost around 8,000 or something, 8 or 9,000, and Devkinanand was so happy seeing that so many are coming. He said like that every temple wanted to make something big. It was one time event kind of thing. Devkinanand said no, we want to have it every year. So then every year they started making this. He was quite instrumental in that making that, and from there he started the Prayagraj, NIT Allahabad, the NIT Prayagraj, and then the Varanasi, ITBHU, which was almost preaching was going on, and again it had reduced. Then again he brought it up, and then yeah, seeing his ability to lead, he was sent to Varanasi and Prayagraj. Both the things he is heading. He is the temple president of both the temples. And when he went there, it was the temple was quite at a lot of depths were there, and deities were also not much things. And within short time of 6 to 8 months or something, he cleared all those depths and like made plans. And Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj was very happy seeing that the way all the things started flourishing. And now a beautiful temple is coming up in Varanasi. I think Proji recently had gone and seen that. So, and recently in the Prayagraj, when the Mahakumbha was there, that time, like not, I think even, I don't remember, Gaurangpur or somebody was sharing that, like no, the way the guest house was brought up for the service of the devotees, ISKCON is known for making things very fast, but I think even many would fail to make it so happen so fast. That was the comment which I heard from the devotees, and so many senior devotees went, and like no, he could serve all of them, and practically that whole stretch of months, I can say it was quite hectic, but still, nevertheless, I have seen him right from the beginning. Uh, he was quite touched by the life of Srila Prabhupada. Just after the first year, when he went home, he studied this Prabhupada Leelamrit, and all the devotees could see that just there was a 180-degree phase shift in terms of his this one, and like now seeing the life of Prabhupada, how he had dedicated. He would come and he would inspire all the other devotees in terms of that, like now going for the preaching and how we should also assist our superiors and all. So that way was kind of inspiring, encouraging everyone. And now there, everything is started from the scratch. Now we see so many devotees are there here sitting. They have come for the 2 days camp here. They are working here. So he is known for his personal touch also. Wherever the devotees are there who are under him, he personally goes, he taking out time 2 3 days to meet them and inspire, encourage them. And now both of these places, and even in the very short time in the uh, Allahabad also, they have made a youth center, and which is very appealing. And once Rashambra said that when I went, I felt that even some of like our temple is also not of that level or something. That was his comment. So that way is encouraging, and not only in now seeing his ability to serve, even in the NIDC has been given. I'm not sure chairman or the one
Thank
of
you.
the this, and they have given all the
Please
young,
end.
and now he has started traveling to Rashambra wanted more devotees, because now in the India there is youth preaching is flourishing, but in the West, like now Rashambra said that I'm seeing that Prabhupada disciples, many of them are there, they are elderly and they don't have helping hands and they are only doing all the services and arti and other things. So if you can just relieve them from them, if you can uh, get some more devotees who can assist them in their services, it will be so nice. So that way Rashambra wanted few of the devotees who are leading the youth preaching to come to US and assist while taking care of the responsibilities in the local places. So that way, when he now he has started traveling to US also. So we are let us express our gratitude to Achyut Mohan Prabhu for coming, and I requested him if he can take this morning class. He uh, agreed for it. Let us hope and pray that again he comes exclusive. Now he has come for the giving time to devotees. He will come to give time to ICC devotees. Let us express our gratitude by chanting Hare Krishna mantra once. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare.
I
And also
feel
he relishes reading Prabhupada Purport. Even I remember I was working in Bombay that time. He had called like way back. He just even in his just he had come to final year that time. Bro, I'm starting like now Bhagavad Gita reading very fast. He read many of the books and especially this one book when we were like now the salted bread book. So that book had come, and just Ashamba had come for a 1 day visit, and in the class he just mentioned that like, this book is very inspiring to see that how the devotees in Russia, although there is so much of struggle, but still they took up and they practiced Krishna consciousness. And he told, and somehow one book we got it, and it was only one book, and almost so many devotees were there. When to read, everybody were like, bro, I'll from this time to this time I don't have college, I'll read it, and maybe evening you can read it like that. So one day in night he sat, and next day morning he completed that book.
it's not good.
So that is his
Though
eagerness
I
to
feel
read
like
the book.
a small kid here actually.
So
I don't have maturity. We may be doing something here and there. When I heard
I just
Narari Chaitanya Prabhu words, there are devotees with so much maturity and substance. But Prabhu, out of his good heart, because we are good friends, so he is glorifying. But he was the first one who inspired all of us by moving into voice, the center there. And by his example, he was the first one to wear dhoti kurta, first one to start deity worship. Yeah, I mean, when we were students in 2004. So he was like elder brother for us, bhaiya type of person. So it was his, because of his taking care of all of us on behalf of all the devotees, we were, but anyways, we were fortunate to be together. And thank you, bro. Really. He was studying structural engineering and he helped build our devotional structure also, actually.
so once again, like now let us express our gratitude to Srila Prabhupada for taking so much of trouble going, and in these songs we could hear that what was his heart and how he was feeling helpless, and by depending upon the Lord and the like now the instruction of his spiritual master, how he felt nourished and how he was so confident that by hearing to these words of Srimad Bhagavatam, like now one's heart can get purified. That was his staunch faith in the instruction of the spiritual master as well as the Krishna. So let us also pray that we also get that staunch determination and the dependency on the Lord, and by which we can assist Srila Prabhupada and his disciples and grand disciples and everyone in the mission of Srila Prabhupada. Let's express our gratitude to Srila Prabhupada and to Achyut Mohan Prabhu once again by chanting Hare Krishna mantra once. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank
Just in glorification of Achyuta Mohan Prabhu, I would like to make a a small. Yesterday, I was listening to that Ramanandi, who is that Ramanand Sampradaya, who has got that eyes, Ram Bhadracharya. So I was, there was a podcast about three press reporters, most of them were female. They were talking and asking many questions. It was more than 1 hour. After 1 hour in between, they asked the question about how to know about Vedic system how to properly understand. The first point he made was, unless you know Sanskrit, you can never understand the Vedic literature. So I was thinking we should send Achyutamohan Prabhu to the Maharaj so that, because he was talking about many Vrindavan, many sannyasis, even Jagat Guru, that Acharya who speaks, who is that? Yeah, somewhere he stays there only in North. He says he also doesn't know the Vedic literature. But the thing is, I don't think that Maharaj has know anything about Prabhupada. Now Prabhupada is not there. So we can send Achyut Mohan Prabhu, he's already there. Just go sit with him and explain about you don't require Sanskrit to know Krishna or Vedic literature. So, I mean, there's so much of, what is that, disturbance in philosophical understanding by different people. And Prabhu was also explaining about the BHU. They study more and they can get confused more. So there is a PhD degree there. And maybe ISKCON can start a PhD program where they ultimately culminate there and chant Hare Krishna and be happy. So I went all the way to different places. It just memory about 1 week back. But today, after listening to him, I'm very safe in ISKCON because all these places, so many things are there, but they don't know any conclusions. They have all different conclusions. But after hearing him, it was like, yes, we are safe in ISKCON. And Achyuta Prabhu is really, whatever you spoke, it was from the heart. Just touch. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, His Grace Achyuta Mohan Prabhuji, for coming to our temple and sharing your knowledge. And it was really a wonderful session, glimpses of Srila Prabhupada memories, Leelamrita memories. It was really wonderful. Thank you for sharing those memories. Please keep coming to our temple quite often and give your association. So let's thank Prabhuji once again from the bottom of our heart. By chanting Hare Krishna mantra once. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Some important announcements and sponsors today. The first important announcement is His Grace Suvarna Gaura Hari Prabhuji has distributed 1,000 Bhagavad Gita Kannada sets in Kalburgi. So Prabhuji is not here. Okay. So let's thank Prabhuji by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra once, and let's all get inspired to distribute Bhagavad Gita sets also. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So today we have 4 sponsors. The first sponsor is Sunirmal Prabhu and his family. So Prabhuji is sponsoring in memory of his parents, K.N.